There exists a mystery that the world's most captivating women understand, a mystery that has nothing to do with physical attractiveness, wealth, or youth. It's something so subtle, so influential, that when you do this just once, he selects you, even when he has countless other choices. Have you ever wondered why certain women seem to possess an unexplainable allure? Why do they manage to make men who appeared entirely uninterested turn toward them, like sunflowers turn toward light? If you want to uncover this transformative force that will change your romantic life forever, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and activate the notification bell so you won't miss any content that could revolutionize your relationships. The answer isn't found in the advice you've always heard. It's not about playing hard to get, engaging in games, or trying to be flawless. The truth runs much deeper, much more ancient. Roberto Silva, one of Brazil's most respected psychologists, discovered through decades of research something that will completely revolutionize how you connect with men. And today, you'll uncover this mystery that transformed thousands of women's lives. But first, I need to tell you something that might sound frightening. Most women are doing exactly the opposite of what they should. They're trying too hard, attempting to prove their worth, competing for masculine attention in a way that actually makes them invisible. Have you felt this? That sensation of giving everything you have, being the perfect woman, available, understanding, and yet he doesn't choose you. Still, you feel that you're not special to him. The pain of not being chosen is one of the deepest wounds a woman can carry. It's as if something inside you whispers that you're not enough, that you need to be more beautiful, younger, more captivating. But what if I told you that this pain you feel is actually a gateway to your true feminine power? What Roberto Silva discovered goes against everything society taught us about attraction and relationships. It's something so simple it seems obvious when you understand it, but so revolutionary it can change your life within days. Imagine for a moment what it would be like if you knew exactly what to do, so any man would see you as the most fascinating woman he's ever met, not through tricks or manipulation, but through something authentic, something that comes from your most sacred center. The woman who masters this mystery doesn't need to compete, doesn't need to diminish herself or try too hard. She simply exists in her feminine wholeness, and men are naturally drawn to this energy as if it were an invisible magnet. Today, you'll discover what this mystery is, you'll understand why it works, and most importantly, you'll learn exactly how to apply it in your life, because it's time for you to stop settling for crumbs of attention. It's time for you to be chosen, not as one option among many, but as the choice, the only one. Before revealing this mystery that can completely transform your relationships, I need you to be here with me on this journey of discovery and transformation. If you've made it this far, it's because something in your heart recognized the truth of what I'm sharing. Click the bell and subscribe to the channel, because the next few minutes could be the most important of your romantic life. And in the comments, I want you to write just one word: chosen. This word carries powerful intention. When you write chosen, you're declaring to the universe that you're ready to receive this sacred knowledge. You're affirming that you deserve to be the woman who is chosen, not the option. Write chosen now, because this will activate something within you, will prepare your heart to receive the transformation that's coming. Each word you write is like a seed planted in the fertile soil of your new romantic reality. To understand this mystery, I need to take you on a journey that begins in the deepest place of the psyche, where Roberto Silva discovered something that few dared explore during his 40 years of research and clinical practice. Silva observed thousands of relationships, couples who loved each other passionately, men who abandoned everything for a woman, relationships that seemed magical and enchanted, and he began to notice a pattern that challenged all conventional logic. The women who were truly chosen weren't necessarily the most beautiful, weren't the youngest, weren't the most successful. There was something more, something invisible to the eyes, but powerful as a force of nature. Silva called this feminine magnetic presence. But what does this really mean? And why are some women born with this while others spend their entire lives searching? The answer is hidden in deep layers of our primitive nature. When a man encounters a woman, something ancestral awakens in him, something that goes beyond reason, beyond logic. It's as if an ancient part of his brain gets activated, a part that recognizes something sacred in the feminine. But here's the problem. Modern society has corrupted this natural dynamic. We've been taught to compete like men, to prove our worth through achievements, to be strong in a way that actually disconnects us from our true power. Have you noticed how when you try to impress a man, he seems to pull away? When you strive to be perfect, he seems to lose interest. This isn't coincidence. It's because you're going against your deepest nature. The man, in his essence, doesn't want to be impressed. He wants to be inspired. He doesn't want a woman who competes with him. He wants a woman who completes him. And this difference is everything. Silva discovered that there exists a feminine state of being that acts as a portal that connects you to your purest essence and simultaneously awakens in the man something he didn't even know he was seeking. This state cannot be faked, cannot be copied. It's like trying to counterfeit a rose's fragrance. It might seem similar, but the soul recognizes the difference. Think of the women in your life you admire, those who seem to have special magic. You'll notice they don't strive to attract attention. They simply are. And in this being, there's a completeness that's irresistible. But how do we reach this state? How do we find this essence when we've spent years being conditioned to be different? The journey begins with a paradox. To be chosen, you must first choose yourself, not in a selfish or narcissistic way, but in a sacred way. You need to reconnect with the woman you are. Before all the wounds, before all the disappointments, there exists a version of you that knows your value without needing to prove it. A version that isn't afraid to be vulnerable because she knows her vulnerability is actually her strength. A version that doesn't fear love because she understands that true love doesn't diminish, it multiplies. Roberto Silva calls this the return to the sacred feminine. And when a woman makes this journey back home to herself, something extraordinary happens. She becomes like a lighthouse. Men sense her light from afar, but it's not just any man who can withstand this light. Insecure men feel threatened. Immature men feel inadequate. Only the man who's ready for true love can approach this energy without fear. And here's the beauty of it. When you operate from this sacred place, you naturally attract the right type of man. You stop attracting those who only want to play. You stop attracting the emotionally unavailable. You begin to magnetize men who are ready to choose, ready to commit, ready to love. This doesn't mean you become passive, doesn't mean you become submissive. Actually, it's the opposite. You become powerful in a way few understand, powerful without being aggressive, strong without being harsh, confident without being arrogant. The woman who masters this mystery walks through the world differently. She speaks differently. She loves differently. And men feel this difference in every cell of their being. But what exactly is this mystery? What is this one thing you can do once that will change everything? The answer will surprise you because it's not something you do for him, it's something you do for yourself. And paradoxically, it's exactly this that makes him choose you above all others. The mystery that Roberto Silva discovered after decades of research can be summarized in one word: surrender. But not surrender as weakness, surrender as the most courageous act a woman can perform. When you surrender to your true feminine nature, you stop fighting against the river and begin to flow with it. And in this flow, you become irresistible. But what does it mean to surrender? It means stopping trying to control the outcome. It means stopping trying to force love. It means trusting that when you're authentically yourself, the right love finds its way to you. Here's what happens in practice. The woman who surrenders stops doing the things most women do instinctively when they like a man. She stops becoming excessively available, stops trying to solve his problems, stops sacrificing herself to prove her worth. Instead, she does something revolutionary. She maintains her full and rich life regardless of his presence. She becomes like a paradise island in the middle of life's ocean, complete, sufficient, magnetic. The man feels this immediately. His primitive mind recognizes that she doesn't need him but chooses to be with him, and this difference activates something deep in the masculine psyche. The hunter's instinct awakens, but not to conquer, but to be worthy of her. I'll give you a concrete example that changed one of my clients' lives. Maria was 45 years old and had spent the last 10 years trying to win back her ex-husband. She did everything for him. She was always available, always trying to prove she was the ideal woman. And he kept coming and going, never deciding completely on her. When Maria discovered this mystery, she did something that seemed impossible. She stopped calling, stopped being available, stopped trying to solve his problems. Instead, she began living her own life fully. She returned to painting, something she had abandoned years ago, started traveling alone, created new social circles, rediscovered her dreams, and something magical happened. The more complete she became without him, the more he desired her. In 6 months, he was at her door asking for a new chance, not because she had changed to please him, but because she became the woman he couldn't get out of his head. But here's the deepest part of this mystery. Surrender isn't about strategy, isn't about playing games or being hard to get. It's about real internal transformation. It's about you becoming so connected with yourself that you naturally radiate energy that's impossible to ignore. Roberto Silva identified 3 pillars of this sacred surrender. The first is self-sufficiency, emotional. This doesn't mean you don't need love or connection. It means you don't rely on a specific man to feel whole. You discover your fulfillment within yourself and share this richness with whoever stands beside you. The second foundation is mindful presence. When you're with a man, you're fully present, but when you're not, you don't become obsessed thinking about him. You maintain a rich, captivating life that keeps flowing, regardless of his presence. You have your own projects, dreams, and passions that keep you engaged with life. The third foundation is what Silva calls unconditional self-love. You love yourself not for what you do or achieve, but for who you are. This self-love energy is like an invisible perfume that naturally attracts genuine love. It's a soul fragrance that cannot be purchased or copied. When these 3 foundations align, something extraordinary occurs. You become like a flame, and men are like moths. They cannot resist your light. But here's the most crucial part. This process isn't about manipulating men. It's about you reconnecting with your purest essence. And when you do this, you naturally attract men who are at the same level of evolution. The right man for you is the one who recognizes and values your wholeness, the one who doesn't want to diminish you, but grow alongside you, the one who sees your independence not as a threat, but as a gift. And here's the miracle. When you stop chasing love and start embodying it, love chases you. When you stop trying to be chosen and start choosing yourself, you become irresistible to those who truly matter. This works at any age. It works if you've been single for years or coming out of a relationship. It works if you want to win someone back or attract new love, because the secret isn't in the external situation, it's in your internal transformation. The woman who masters this sacred surrender never again begs for love. Never again accepts crumbs, never again settles for almost relationships. She becomes selective, not from pride, but from wisdom. She understands that her love is sacred and deserves to be treated as such. And the man who has the fortune of winning this woman's heart knows he has found a treasure. He doesn't take her for granted because he feels she chooses to be with him every day. And this conscious choice creates a love dynamic that is lasting and profound. This is the secret that can change your love life forever. It's not about becoming someone else. It's about becoming who you really are, without masks, without games, without fear. Now that you know the secret, your life will never be the same, because once you see the truth, you can no longer pretend you don't know it. Once you understand your true feminine power, you can no longer accept less than you deserve. But let me be honest with you, this transformation isn't easy. It goes against everything we've been taught about love and relationships. It will require you to unlearn patterns you may have carried for decades. You'll need to unlearn the idea that you need to try hard to be loved. You'll need to release the belief that your worth is tied to male approval. You'll need to let go of the fear that if you don't chase him, you'll be alone. And here's the scariest part. You'll need to trust. Trust that when you are authentically yourself, the right love finds its way. Trust that you are worthy of a love that doesn't need to be begged for. Trust that there's someone out there who will choose you, not despite who you are, but exactly because of who you are. But the fruits of this transformation are extraordinary. Imagine what it would be like to wake up every day knowing you are complete, with or without a man by your side. Imagine the freedom to love without fear, without desperate attachment, without the need to control the outcome. Imagine entering a relationship, not because you need it to feel valid, but because you choose to share your full and rich life with someone special. Imagine being loved for who you really are, not for who you pretend to be. This transformation will impact all areas of your life. At work, you'll stop seeking constant approval and start trusting your competence. With friends, you'll stop competing and start celebrating. With yourself, you'll develop a relationship of love and respect that will be the foundation for all other relationships. And here's something Roberto Silva discovered in his research. Women who make this journey back to themselves not only attract better partners, they also have more lasting and satisfying relationships. Why? Because when you don't depend on a relationship to feel complete, you can truly love. You can give without emptying yourself. You can receive without feeling indebted. You can fight without fear of abandonment. You can be vulnerable without fear of being hurt. The man who relates to such a woman feels the difference immediately. He doesn't need to carry the weight of being the source of her happiness. He doesn't need to walk on eggshells for fear of disappointing her. He can simply be himself and love freely. But I'll tell you something that may sound contradictory. This journey will make you more selective, much more selective. Men who once seemed interesting will reveal their emotional immaturity. Relationships you would have tolerated in the past will become unacceptable. And this is wonderful, because when you raise your internal standards, you automatically attract people who are at the same level. You stop attracting projects and start attracting men ready for mature love. Some women become afraid of this selectivity. What if I end up alone, they ask. But here's the truth. It's better to be alone and complete than accompanied and empty. It's better to have one great love in life than a succession of mediocre relationships. And the reality is that when you reach this state of internal completeness, you rarely stay alone for long, because your magnetic energy naturally attracts people who are at the same level of evolution. Think about how this will change your conversations with men. Instead of trying to impress or please, you'll simply be authentic. Instead of fearing what he thinks, you'll be curious to know him better. Instead of worrying if he'll call, you'll be busy living your full life. This energy shift is felt immediately. The man feels he's in the presence of a woman who knows and values herself, and this awakens in him a deep desire to be worthy of this special woman. But here's the most beautiful part of this transformation. It's contagious. When you start to truly love yourself, you inspire other women to do the same. When you stop competing and start collaborating, you elevate all the feminine energy around you. Your friends will notice the change. Your family will feel the difference, and the men in your life, all of them will react to this new energy in ways that will surprise you. The ex who seemed to have lost interest may reappear. The work colleague, who was always just cordial, may start showing genuine interest. New men may appear in your life in unexpected ways, but here's the most important part. You will no longer accept just any attention. You will consciously choose where you invest your emotional energy. You will only value men who demonstrate they are ready for the kind of love you have to offer. This is the greatest consequence of this secret. Never again will you settle for less than you deserve. And this, my dear, will change your life forever. Because a woman who knows her worth radiates an energy that is impossible to ignore. A woman who truly loves herself attracts true love. A woman who chooses herself every day will be chosen by the right man at the right time. If this video touched your soul, if you felt a revolution happening within you, share it with other women who need to hear this. Share it with your friends, your sisters, your daughters, because when one woman awakens to her true power, she helps awaken all the others. And if you're ready to dive even deeper into this transformation, don't miss the next video that's appearing on your screen now. Click the subscribe button and continue with me on this journey of self-knowledge and feminine empowerment. Because you deserve to be chosen, deserve to be loved, deserve a love that celebrates who you are.